Hi, and welcome back to MyExcelOnline.com. Today we are going to go over 3 different ways to use the morph transition inside of Microsoft PowerPoint in order to create some really great presentations. So let me show you a few examples of what those will look like. First, we are going to show you how to zoom in using the morph transition, and that one will look like this. Next, we're going to show you one that allows you to highlight different parts of a black and white image. And that one will look like this. And finally, we will create one that allows your icons to morph into a different icon, which will look like this. If you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel and Office, join our Academy online course and access more than 1,000 video training tutorials so that you can advance your level and get the promotions, pay raises, or new jobs. The link to join our Academy online course is in the description. So let's get started creating each one of those. First, let's start with the Zoom one. So I'm going to open up PowerPoint and I'm going to go to a blank presentation. And then I'm going to delete the default boxes that come up on the screen by highlighting them and pressing delete on the keyboard. Next, I'm going to go to Insert and go to Pictures from this device, and I'm going to insert each one of the Office icons that I have right here. And with them all selected, I'm going to get the double-headed arrow on the bottom right-hand corner and just click and drag and make them smaller. And then I'm going to line them up on my screen in the order that I want them to appear. After I do that, I'm going to create 4 rectangles by going up to Home and Shapes, and I'm just going to select a rectangle on here and draw that all the way across. And then I'm going to go up here to the fill color and pick the eyedropper and pick a color on the PowerPoint icon. And then I'm going to click and drag that down. And then I'm going to hit Control-C, Control-V a couple times. And then I'm going to hold down Shift and select all 4 rectangles and go up to Arrange and say Send to Back. And then I'm going to right click on my slide and go to Duplicate Slide. And I'm going to select the second slide. And what I would like to do is I'm going to click and drag in this gray area off of the slide, and I'm going to select everything. And I'm going to drag all of that down to the right hand corner of my screen to about there. And then I'm going to select the rectangle and the PowerPoint icon, and I'm going to drag that up to the left so that it's very large. And then I'm going to select the PowerPoint icon and just move it a little bit over to the left. So now when you look at this slide over here, you can see that that's going to be my zoom view of Microsoft PowerPoint. So I'm going to right click and duplicate this slide up here, and I'm going to repeat that same thing for each one of these icons down here. So for Word, I'm going to select the orange and put it up here since it's already been done. And then I'm going to highlight the rest of them, bring them down to the right-hand corner so that I can see Excel coming next. And then I'm going to select the blue rectangle with the Word icon and scroll left, and I'm going to make that very large on the screen. And then I'm going to select just the Word icon and move it over to the left. So as you can see over here, now Word is going to be zoomed in. I'm going to right click and hit Duplicate Slide again, drag that slide to the end, and do the same thing for Excel. So I'm going to select both Word and PowerPoint, bring that to the top of my screen, and then I'm going to select Excel and Access, bring Access down to the bottom right, select Excel and the icon, and make that larger. And you can see in my preview that's how I want the zoomed in Excel to look. And then finally, I'm going to duplicate that slide, bring it to the end, and do it for access. So I'm going to select these three, push them to the top since they've already been done, and then I'm going to select the access one and make the rectangle bigger and the icon bigger as well. And then if I want everything to go back to its original size at the end, I can duplicate this slide and just drag that to the end of my presentation. So now, if I select the first slide in my presentation and hold down Shift and select all the other ones, and go up here to Transitions and select Morph, let's watch the presentation and see how it looks. So I'm going to go to Slideshow and go from beginning, and I'm going to hit the down arrow, hit the down arrow again, hit the down arrow again, hit the down arrow again, and then hit it one more time. And you can see how the morph has a zooming effect on each one of these slides. If you are liking this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell button to get notified when we release our weekly videos. Next, we are going to create the black and white version of this presentation where we can highlight in color the application that we were talking about. So let's start by highlighting everything in our presentation, just hitting Control-C on our keyboard to copy so that we don't have to create all of these again. And go up to File and go to Blank Presentation, highlight these two boxes and hit Delete, and then just hit Control-V to paste that onto the screen. Next, let's right-click here and go to Duplicate Slide. And this is the one where we are going to create a black and white image of this image that we have right now. So first of all, select everything and hit Control-C, then Control-V, and drag that out of the way because we're going to use this later. Next, go back here and hold down Shift and select each one of these icons, and then go over here to Picture Format, select Color, and select something that's a little more black and white, perhaps this one right here. And then select the first rectangle, go over here to Fill Color, and select the second gray color down. And then do the same for the others, except just varying the gray that you pick by one on each one of these rectangles. So here I'm picking the second to last, and on here I will pick the last gray in the gray column. So now it looks like I have a black and white image of my icons. Next, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select all of my icons and rectangles down here. And I'm going to right click on those and I'm going to go to Group and hit Group because I want this to appear to be one image. And then I'm going to carefully drag and drop that on top of my black and white image. Next, I'm going to right click on here and go to Save as Picture. And I just need to give this a name and hit Save. And then I'm going to hit Delete on the keyboard and go up to Insert Picture from this device. And I'm going to select the picture that I just created. The reason I need this to be a picture is because when I go up to the cropping tool, I need to have this crop available. And this crop is only available in the form of a picture. So that's why we had to go through that process. So now I'm going to align this picture exactly with the gray background in the back. And then I'm going to use the cropping tool and I'm going to say crop to shape. And you can select any shape on here you want. I'm just going to select this arrow. And then I'm going to go back to the cropping tool and say crop. And now watch, when I have that, I can resize this whole thing to that arrow, highlighting the PowerPoint portion of this slide. Now I can right click on the second slide and go to Duplicate Slide. And I can select this image again, go up to Picture Format, go to Crop, and say Crop. And this time, I can recrop the picture to be the word part of the picture right here. Then I will right click on that slide and go to Duplicate Slide. I can select my shape again, go up to Picture Format, Crop, and recrop that to be the Excel image right here. And then finally, I can right click that new slide, hit Duplicate Slide, select the arrow, and hit Crop one more time. And drag that down to be the Access arrow. And then if I want everything to go back to this original slide, I can duplicate that slide and put that at the end. If I select the first slide and hold down Shift and select all the slides underneath. Go up to Transitions and go to Morph. Let's watch our slideshow. So if I hit the down arrow, you can see that the colors will be morphing and changing based on the topic that I am talking about. So finally, for our third slideshow, let's set up a way for each one of these rectangles with the icon to morph into the next one. So first I'm going to select the first slide, highlight all of these, and hit Control-C on the keyboard, just so I don't have to recreate them. Then I'm going to go to File, Blank Presentation. Again, I'll select these two boxes by holding down Shift and hit Delete on the keyboard, and then hit Control-V to paste those in. Now this one's a little bit more tricky. First, I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to search for Selection Pane, and I want to display the selection pane. Over here, you will see that every object on here has a name. Here's our 4 rectangles, and here's our 4 images. So in order to morph one image into another, it needs to have the same name on different slides. And that name needs to start with 2 exclamation points. And I'm going to click the first picture, and then I'm going to click again so that I can change this name. I'm going to highlight that and name it exclamation, exclamation, image 1. And then I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to click on the next picture, and then click again, highlight that, and just paste the same name. Same for here. Same for here. And on my rectangles, I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to paste that in, but this time I'm going to call it rectangle. And I'm going to highlight that and hit copy. And for each of these rectangles down here, I'm going to hit paste. So now you can see I have 1 image name and 1 rectangle name. So I'm going to also set this transition to morph, because if I do it right now, I will retain that transition for every slide that I copy. So next I'm just going to right click on here and go to duplicate slide. And on this one, I'm just going to highlight all the ones underneath PowerPoint, and I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard. Then I'm going to right click and hit duplicate slide again, drag this new slide down here, and highlight and delete everything but Word. Again, I'll duplicate slide, drag it down, highlight everything but Excel and delete it. And then finally, I'll duplicate the first slide, drag it all the way down, and highlight everything except for Access, and delete it. And if I would like everything to go back to the beginning at the end of my slideshow, I can right click and duplicate this one more time and drag it all the way to the end. So let's see what this slideshow looks like. I'm going to hit the down arrow, and now watch. This is going to morph into the next line, and it's a really cool transition. So you can see the icon changing from the PowerPoint one into the Word. And the reason PowerPoint knows to morph into Word is because we kept the name of that icon the same on every slide that we created. So if I hit the down arrow again, Word morphs into Excel, and if I hit it one more time, Excel morphs into Access. And then if I hit down one more time, they all appear again, and I can hit Escape to go back to PowerPoint. So let's look one more time. On this slide, I have an image 1 in a rectangle. Same on this slide, same on this slide, same on this slide. So image 1 on this slide, which is right here, is going to morph into image 1 on this slide, which will morph into image 1 on this slide, which will morph to image 1 on this slide. And the same with the rectangles. So hopefully these are some new transitions that you can use inside of your PowerPoint presentations. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time. If you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel and Office, join our Academy online course and access more than 1,000 video training tutorials so that you can advance your level and get the promotions, pay raises, or new jobs. The link to join our Academy online course is in the description.
If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're really serious about advancing your Microsoft Excel skills so you can stand out from the crowd and get the jobs promotions and pay rises that you deserve, then click up here and join our Academy online course today.